Hi Ivan and Camilla, it's Rob. I'm just at the house again. Now that the guys have done a lot more landscaping and paving stones, I do want to just readdress one or two items that you were aware of, and also address some items that I would recommend at this point, just for safety's sake. Number one, this sump pump injection pipe that goes straight underground, about 6 inches below ground, and then runs horizontally over a very great distance with minimal slope, coming through the landscaping here and disappearing to, frankly, I'm not exactly sure where it fully ejects to, but this is a big concern for water freezing. I would not recommend, I think in the summertime it's probably okay, but as soon as the winter time hits, I would definitely not have the water ejecting here the way it does. I would have probably a section of pipe that you could remove and drain it into the gravel so it'll percolate through if necessary, but also you want as short a length of pipe as possible in the winter time, because as the water spits out from inside and the exterior is cold, you don't want lengths of pipe that can freeze up. So I would recommend doing something with this section. If you absolutely need to have a pipe that takes it down to the ground, I would go with a 4-inch weeping tile pipe, which has percolated little holes around the outside of it, so that you can run it down and sort of drain it out across horizontally onto the ground level. That way it sort of disperses out, but it doesn't force the water into the ground and across, where it's almost undoubtedly going to freeze somewhere either vertically where it's totally exposed to the cold, or a few inches below grade under such a shallow slope from here to there. I would really recommend having something done about that before the winter time, because I think you're going to have some issues with the pipes freezing up, blocking themselves up, and the sump pump getting jammed, not being able to expel the water, and it's going to back up inside the basement, and you could have some flooding. Number two, we do have a weeper here, a vertical weeper up to the window that goes down into the lines that run across the bottom of the footings. However, your guys did the landscaping right flush with the bottom of the window, which I again wouldn't advise in terms of water penetration. Anytime you have a window or a door sitting at grade, it just gives the option for snow, again in the wintertime especially, because this window is going to be warmer than any other section of the wall, because it's the thinnest layer of R value at the window. You're going to have a warm window sitting up against cold snow and ice, thereby causing a lot of thawing and then refreezing potentially, and melting and penetration of water that's going to want to sit right against the windowsill, to the point where you may have some penetration of water along the windowsill. You might find that there's some mold over time, not necessarily right away. I mean, this is a really brand new window with a good water seal. However, they're not really meant to take a large buildup, a large volume of water buildup sitting right against the window. So what I'd recommend is asking your landscapers to take out the stone here and actually just do a dropped window well, a foot out, and just a little bit wider than the window on either side. Use the weeping towel there and just have it sunken down, even 8 inches or something, just low enough that if it snows, the snow won't be inclined to sit right on grade at the window where water can get in underneath here. This is an operable window, so the fact that water can get in there, can get in along the sides here. I would recommend removing these patio stones, exposing the gravel underneath, which is a much better, has a better potential for water to percolate down through it, and just put a little bit of a window well so that water can drain away from the window, as opposed to right now where it's going to want to sit right at window height. The other concern, which is very similar to that one, is on the other side of the house. As I walk by here, I'll just let you know, I've checked out the sonotubes. They look great. They're definitely deep enough now. They do have a good height, width. There's 3 rebars in each one as per drawings. They're tied off together, which is great. They are 10M each. So we're good on that front, and I would say I've taken a whole bunch of pictures of spacing and the heights and the thicknesses and all that. So I'd say you're good to go ahead and pour those concrete columns right now. But just bring your attention back around the other side of the house. They did the same thing here. Again, I wasn't aware that you guys were going to be paving this walkway. I think it's great, for the recycling bins and whatnot. My concern would be this area where, again, you've got a door threshold sitting right flush with the ground stones, which functionally is not really a great idea because again, snow and things are going to want to sit on top of there. And again, a warm door against a cold outside, you're going to get some moisture there, and it's possible / likely that you're going to have some water working its way inside through that door threshold. The sweeps underneath the doors aren't a super tension fitting. They're not compressed fully in order to keep that much water out. They're meant more for, if rain's falling, it's not going to work its way in. But built up snow and ice against that door, pushed up against that door, and being able to melt and thaw and work its way into there is really not a great idea from a moisture penetration perspective, as well as the fact that they brought the stones flush with the stucco over here, whereas on the back side of the house you can see that the stucco is actually set up off of grade, because grade on the drawings actually dropped off from the back of the garage. It dropped off to the back of the house. As you can see how high up we are, we went level with the stucco here, and you can see how much of a difference we have because grade does drop off. So what I would recommend here, and again, had I known you guys were planning to pave this walkway, I probably would have spoken to the landscapers in advance. I would have them drop this whole section here from the back corner of the garage backwards. I would have them drop it by about 7 inches. Put a little nosing piece across here so that you come across the walkway, and then when you hit this line, you step down 1 full step, and that way this whole threshold, this whole patio back here is down 1 full step, which is actually what's shown on the drawings. On the permit drawings, it actually shows on the plan view, which is the view looking from bird's eye. You'll see that there's a wall with a door, and it says up 1, which means up 1 step. And you'll also notice that on the elevations, which is showing this from the side of the house, you'll see that there's the door, and then there's about a 6 3/4 height difference down to grade. You never want grade sitting right at the same height as a door threshold. So again, I would highly recommend having this section of patio dropped level, but dropped 1 full step from the door. That way the snow is going to sit down on the on the stones below, and not really sit so much up against the door threshold, which isn't really meant to hold back that much water. So I would change that. I would put a window well over there, and I would adjust that sump ejection pipe so that it drains above grade. But other than that, this one's great here. The rainwater downspouts come down and weep out onto on top of the patio stones, which is great, so that it runs off down the driveway. That's fantastic. I see your driveway looks amazing. I'd actually like to get the number of your landscaper. They did a beautiful job here. The driveway is nice and even. It's got a good slope down towards the street. Finally, there's no more backward slope that you guys had. The walk, the steps up, everything looks fantastic. I just wanted to make sure you're aware of those few concerns that I've got, just because I just don't want them to become an issue down the road. Also, as per email, I will have the mason come back to adjust some of the stuff of the masonry around the house. And while he's here, now that we can see this exposed section of foundation wall, I'll have him fill in some mortar and blocks around here if necessary, to patch this in to make sure it's all solid and that we're not going to have water penetration issues through some of those openings. So we'll get those filled up for you. Thanks so much.